listening to Growth Hacker, the leading podcast series where we explore the latest trends and strategies in growth hacking and marketing. In each episode, we share insights and tips on how to grow your business, audience, and brand. Whether you are a startup founder, a marketer, or a curious learner, this podcast will help you discover new ways to optimize your growth and achieve your goals. Growth Hacker is brought to you by Growthhacker Inc., which is the brainchild of Aditya Basu. Stay tuned for today's episode.
Welcome back to Growth Hacker, the coolest marketing podcast on the web. Today, we are absolutely plunging headfirst into a topic that's, it's fundamentally reshaping how businesses acquire and scale their customer base. If you're constantly seeking that next innovative growth strategy and maybe grappling with those relentlessly rising customer acquisition costs we hear so much about.
Oh yeah, the dreaded CAC.
Exactly, especially in, the relentless world of SaaS, then you are definitely in the right place today.
For sure.
We're talking about product-led growth, or PLG. We've all seen the metric, customer acquisition costs, CAC, just loom larger and larger, right? For years, the playbook was kind of simple. Just throw more money at sales and marketing.
Right, the standard SLG, sales-led growth model.
But the reality is, and you see this in the research, those channels, they're getting saturated and expensive.
Yeah.
That traditional SLG model is really showing its age. Companies are spending more just to get each customer.
And that strains capital. It stifles growth. It's becoming unsustainable for many.
But there's good news. A new class of really high growth companies has emerged. Think Slack, Calendly, Dropbox, names we all know.
The PLG superstars.
Exactly. They didn't just outspend everyone. They built growth into the product itself. That's the core PLG. The product drives acquisition, conversion, expansion, everything.
And the results are pretty stark. That OpenView report mentioned PLG companies seeing, 35% median annual growth?
Yeah.
Compared to 26% for others.
Yeah, staggering difference. And often with less traditional sales and marketing spend. So our mission today, unpack PLG, look at the metrics that really matter now, and explore some killer case studies.
Sounds great.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we even start? What fundamentally defines this PLG shift?
Well, what's fascinating here is it's not just tweaking tactics. It's a whole strategic realignment around the user experience. PLG puts the product front and center for the entire customer journey.
So less reliance on salespeople early on.
Exactly. It empowers the end users. They find the product, they try it, they adopt it, often completely on their own initially.
Okay, so contrast that with the traditional way, the sales-led growth, or SLG.
Right. In SLG, value is promised.
Yeah.
Think demos, sales pitches, you hear about the benefits, but you only really realize that value after the contract is signed, maybe after implementation.
And it's usually a top-down sale, right? Convincing an executive.
Precisely. Top-down, targeting the budget holder.
Right.
And that means, historically, heavy investment in sales and marketing. 40% of revenue for mature SaaS companies isn't unusual, just pushing the product.
Wow, 40%.
Yeah, now flip to PLG, value is demonstrated instantly. The product is the demo. Users jump in, often with a premium plan or a trial, and they see the value right away.
And it starts with the actual user, not the boss.
That's the key, bottom up. The end user tries it, loves it, and then becomes the internal champion. And look at the budget difference. Atlassian, in a classic PLG example, spends maybe 16% on sales and marketing.
Only 16%? So where does the money go?
Into the product. They pour 47% into R&D. They believe improving the product itself is the best way to grow, making it self-serve, making it valuable.
That makes so much sense. So quick comparison highlights, SLG versus PLG.
Sure. Go to market. SLG is top-down executive buyers. PLG is bottom-up end users. Acquisition driver, SLG relies on sales and marketing teams. PLG relies on the product itself via freemium or trials.
And the value discovery difference is huge.
Absolutely. SLG value comes after the sale. PLG value comes before the sale. And the key metric shifts too. SLG focuses on MQLs, marketing qualified leads.
It's showing interest.
Right, whereas PLG focuses on PQLs, product qualified leads, users who've actually gotten real value inside the product. That's a much stronger signal.
That distinction, promised value versus demonstrated value, is huge. It shifts the power. So for you, our listeners, the growth hackers, it means thinking of your product as your number one sales tool, numero uno.
Absolutely, it really does. It's your growth engine.
But making that shift, it's not trivial, right? Is there a sort of checklist? Like, how do you know if you're ready for PLG?
That's a great point. It requires asking some hard questions like, is the problem you solve super clear? Can users get value quickly on their own? Is your product intuitive enough for self-service?
Wow.
Are you targeting end users who can actually try software? Does it have potential for network effects or viral growth? And crucially, are you prepared to invest really heavily in the product and the user experience? Because that's where the focus has to be.
That's a big shift in mindset and resources. And if the product is doing the selling, those old sales metrics just won't cut it, will they?
Not at all. Like you said, trying to run PLG with SLG metrics, it's like trying to fly a plane with a car's dashboard. MQLs, less relevant. You need product-centric KPIs.
KPIs that show real value happening inside the product.
Exactly. These tell you if your growth engine is healthy. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these metrics are the pulse of your PLG strategy.
So what are the absolute must-track metrics for this new PLG dashboard?
Okay, number one, absolutely critical, time to value or TTV. How long does it take a new user to get that first aha moment to really get the core value?
And the goal is?
Minutes, ideally, not hours or days. A fast TTV is probably the best predictor of long-term retention. Think about Calendly.
Right, super simple.
Yeah, you connect your calendar, schedule your first meeting.
Boom.
Boom. Value delivered in under 60 seconds. That immediate win is powerful.
Okay, TTV, what's next?
The product qualified lead, the PQL we mentioned. This isn't just a sign-up. It's a user who's hit certain milestones within the product that show they're getting meaningful value and are likely ready to convert or talk to sales.
So it's based on actions inside the product.
Precisely, like for Miro, the collaboration tool. PQL isn't just signing up. It might be creating, say, 3 boards and inviting 2 teammates. That shows real engagement, real intent.
Makes sense. It's a much stronger signal than just downloading a PDF.
Way stronger. Then there's activation rate. This is the percentage of users who complete a specific set of key actions that you've identified correlate with long-term value. It marks the point where they've successfully onboarded and are really starting to use the product meaningfully.
So it's more than just signing up and poking around.
Definitely. For accounting software, maybe it's creating and sending their first invoice. You have to define what activated really means for your product's value.
Got it. And the last key one?
Expansion revenue. This is huge for PLG. Revenue from existing customers, upgrades, cross-sales, add-ons. The free or cheap initial plan gets them in the door.
But the real growth comes from them using it more and paying more over time.
Exactly. Expansion revenue proves your product is growing with your customers, delivering increasing value. It's fundamental to making the PLG model sustainable.
Those 4, TTV, PQL, activation, expansion revenue, give you a much clearer picture of product-led health than old metrics. Now, you mentioned the aha moment when talking about TTV. That feels incredibly important.
Oh, it's arguably the single most critical element. That moment where the value just clicks, where a user shifts from, okay, what is this, to, wow, I really need this.
That's the goal of onboarding, right? To get them there fast.
Absolutely. And the classic example, the gold standard here, is Slack.
Ah, yes, the 2000 messages story.
Exactly. Their research found the real aha moment wasn't the first message, it was when a team exchanged around 2,000 messages. That's when the value of a central searchable communication hub became undeniable. Going back to email felt painful after that.
So how did they engineer people towards that moment? They didn't just hope teams would chat a lot.
No way, it was very deliberate. They used guided setup wizards to get channels created. They used the Slack bot to teach key features conversationally right away.
Smart. Less like homework, more like help.
Right, and they made inviting teammates incredibly frictionless because Slack's useless alone, right? Value grows with the network. Easy invites accelerate you towards that 2,000 message mark.
And even empty states weren't wasted space.
Nope, prompts and suggestions to get conversations started. It was all designed to grease the wheels, reduce friction, and guide users almost invisibly towards that point of deep value realization.
This raises an important question, though. How do you figure out that moment for your product, and how do you design for it? Not every product is Slack.
That's the key challenge. You need a mix of qualitative and quantitative investigation. Talk to your best, most retained users. Ask them, when did it click for you? Get their stories.
Okay, the qualitative side.
Then dive into your product analytics. What actions do retained users take early on that churned users don't? Use session recordings, heat maps. Watch where people get stuck, where they succeed.
Combine the what's from data with the why from interviews.
Exactly. Form a hypothesis about your aha moment and the actions leading to it. Then start engineering the journey. A/B test, different onboarding flows, different in-product messages, different tutorials. See what gets users to that key activation point faster and more reliably.
So it's an iterative test, learn, optimize towards that core value moment.
Precisely. It's a calculated growth strategy, not just hoping for good UX.
Okay, so once you understand the metrics and the aha moment, the next level seems to be building these self-sustaining growth loops we hear about. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's look at the titans.
Yeah, the loops are where PLG really shines, turning usage into acquisition. Take Dropbox. Their early growth was fueled by that brilliant double-sided referral loop.
The free storage one.
That's the one. Invite a friend, you both get 500 megabytes of extra space. It wasn't just a discount, it was more of the core product value, storage, totally irresistible.
And the impact was huge, right?
Massive. They said it permanently increased signups by 60%. Millions of users came through word of mouth, powered by that simple in-product loop. A happy user's output, the referral, became the input for new growth. Genius.
So simple, so effective. What about Calendly?
Calendly's loop is almost perfectly inherent in its use case. When you send someone your Calendly link to book a meeting,
You're using it and marketing at the same time.
exactly. The recipient experiences the value, easy scheduling, directly. Then that little create your own Calendly for free link at the bottom, that closes the loop, leveraging the positive experience for acquisition. Every meeting scheduled is a potential new user.
It's baked right in. And Slack's loop?
Slack's is all about the collaborative loop. As we said, it's not much use alone. The value explodes as more colleagues join. So the initial user is highly motivated to invite others, driving team adoption.
Which leads them towards the 2,000 messages.
Right. And once it's embedded in the workflow, that naturally drives expansion revenue as teams upgrade for more features or history. Collaboration fuels growth, which fuels revenue.
These loops are powerful because they leverage the core value of the product.
Absolutely. You can even think about it using a framework. What's the input, how users arrive puts, the core action, value delivery, what's the output, the result, and how does that output get reinvested to bring in the next user? Thinking that way helps you spot opportunities in your own product.
That's a really useful framework. Input, action, output, reinvestment. So, what does this all mean? Bringing it all together for the growth hackers listening.
Well, it means PLG isn't just a buzzword or a trend. It feels like the genuine evolution of software sales, especially SaaS.
Yeah, it aligns business success directly with user success. Making the product valuable is the growth strategy. It feels more sustainable, more efficient than just hammering leads.
Definitely.
So, quick recap. It's a strategic shift, product at the center. It demands new metrics, TTV, PQL, activation, expansion. You've got to obsessively engineer that aha moment. And the real magic happens when you build those sustainable growth loops.
Nailed it. And look, it can feel like a lot to take on. Don't try to, boil the ocean.
Good advice. Start small.
Yeah. My actionable takeaway for everyone listening is this week, just focus on identifying and instrumenting one potential PQL action in your product. Just one.
Okay. Define one key action that signals real value.
Right. What single thing indicates a user is getting it? Is it creating that second project? Inviting a teammate? Using feature X 3 times? Pick one, track it, measure it, start there. That's your first step to understanding your product's growth potential.
That makes it much less daunting. One step at a time.
And the future here is really exciting. We're already seeing product-led sales emerge, sales teams using PQL data to have smarter, better-timed conversations, not cold calls, but helpful outreach based on actual product usage.
Combining the best of both worlds.
Exactly. And think about AI-driven personalization for onboarding down the line, guiding each user perfectly to their specific aha moment. By laying this PLG foundation today, you're really building that resilient, user-centric growth engine of tomorrow. It's a fundamental shift, but one that's clearly paying off.
So that's all from us today, folks. Catch us next time when we again discuss some groovy growth hacking fundamentals.
That concludes today's episode. You are listening to the leading podcast series called Growth Hacker, brought to you by Growth Hacker Inc. Growth Hacker Inc. is the brainchild of Aditya Basu. He and his team of content and marketing experts help startup companies, growth stage companies, and small and medium businesses grow fast using ATL, BTL, and TTL marketing. Here in this Growth Hacker podcast, we share our insights on 360 degrees marketing and global marketing trends. Get in touch with Aditya Basu via WhatsApp to get affordable quotes regarding customized marketing plans and content creation and distribution services. Grow fast. Grow now.